This is CBN Newswatch.
Thanks for joining us for this first edition of CBN Newswatch for Tuesday, February 19th. I'm Mark Martin. Today, more winter weather on the way for nearly 40 states, with snow already hitting even Southern California and Las Vegas. And President Trump's blunt warning to Venezuela's military leaders: give up your support for socialist leader Nicolas Maduro or you could lose everything. As the president also says, socialism is dying. Plus, violence in Haiti so severe that scores of American missionaries have left the country. And one university doctor's way to helping those with diabetes with an approach that focuses only on changing their diet. Those stories and more on this edition of Newswatch. We begin now with a powerful new storm poised to strike some 200 million people. 39 states, including every state east of the Mississippi, will be affected by the massive storm over the next few days, with snow, sleet, ice, rain, and possibly flooding. East of Kansas City, whiteout conditions caused this nearly 50-car pileup. One person was killed. In Wisconsin, ice and snow also making for hazardous road conditions. This week of crazy weather started with snow in Los Angeles. Snow also hit Las Vegas, up to 2 inches, turning the Strip into a winter wonderland, closing down I-5 and stranding drivers.
We were gonna get a hotel, but there's no more rooms.
And now we're stuck. So as soon as we got off the exit, we started sliding. So we're just, we're stuck in the car.
Ice and snow on power lines have also caused power outages in some areas. The bad weather is far from over. Here's this forecast update from AccuWeather.
Well, today's the day to run the errands. It's the calm before the storm. Today's a good day for travel. Tomorrow is going to be a real mess, so we advise you get to your destination today, because tomorrow, here it comes, snow and ice and rain. Storm moves up into the Great Lakes. A weaker system forms near the coast. We have our classic cold air damming scenario setting up. What's that? Well, we have a cold high pressure gliding across the northeast today. It's chilly today, and that cold air circulates down through the mountains here. That cold air is shallow, hits the mountains, and slides southward. So it's down here in the low levels. Aloft, warm air is coming in. So initially, it's cold enough for snow. There'll be a burst of snow, and then it changes over to sleet and freezing rain. And this low-level cold air parked against the mountains here, this will be slow to dislodge throughout the day. So here it comes. Our burst of snow arrives late Tuesday night and into Wednesday morning here across northern Virginia, up towards Maryland and southern Pennsylvania. Look at this. We are calling for 3 to 6, perhaps greater than 6 inches of snow here, 6 to 12 area, parts of Pennsylvania, Maryland, and West Virginia. So there's going to be a quick burst of heavy snow. And then that will change over to the ice. And that's going to be a big problem here. So the cold air comes in from the north and northeast, and this will be a slow to dislodge. So look at this. Untreated roads and sidewalks, very slippery. Trees and power lines way down. Power outages, school closures. Look at that. We're calling for a high risk of icing. So here's the zone of greatest concern for power outages. You can see it's from Pennsylvania down through parts of Maryland, Virginia, and West Virginia. So look at that. Widespread power outages in some areas. So here's the future cast. We'll take you through the late night hours, early on Wednesday morning through the day Wednesday. Snow, then the ice, then it changes over to some rain. It all moves rapidly northeastward. So later Thursday and into Friday, we'll be dried out with tranquil conditions for the end of the week.
Thanks for that report. And all the snow ties into a phenomenon in the skies today. The brightest and biggest the moon has been this year. It's called a super snow moon. Check it out. A super moon occurs when a full moon is closest to the Earth, making it look bigger or super. A snow moon occurs in February because it often brings the heaviest snowfalls. Today we'll be getting both a super moon and a snow moon, hence the name Super Snow Moon. Israel is just days away from sending its first spacecraft to the moon. Israel's nonprofit organization SpaceIL will launch a spacecraft from Florida's Cape Canaveral Friday. The group is working with Israel Aerospace Industries. The spacecraft's name, Bera, is a reference to the first words of Scripture found in Genesis, in the beginning. On its 7-week journey, it will capture pictures of the moon's surface and conduct experiments. It's also taking a time capsule with it that includes a copy of the Bible. President Trump issued a stark warning to Venezuela's military leaders Monday, urging them to support opposition leader Juan Guaido or, quote, "you will lose everything." He added, "We seek a peaceful transition of power, but all options are open." Speaking in Miami, the president also said the days of socialism and communism are numbered, not only in Venezuela, but in Nicaragua and in Cuba as well. But Venezuela's socialist leader Nicolas Maduro is refusing to budge, and he's blocking international relief aid from getting into the country. Chuck Holton brings us that story.
As the tragedy that is Venezuela reaches new levels of misery, nobody's quite sure who's in charge of the country. 50 nations now recognize Juan Guaido as the interim president, but one person in particular strongly disagrees. That's Nicolas Maduro, the man who's been running the country since 2013. But with more than 3 million Venezuelans having fled their homeland, and many of those left inside literally starving, here in the border town of Cúcuta, Colombia, tensions along the border are coming to a head. American military aircraft have been arriving here over the past week, delivering tons of humanitarian aid intended to ease the suffering of these Venezuelans. But troops loyal to Nicolas Maduro have so far blocked the shipments from entering their country. Maduro has called the shipments unnecessary and a political stunt, but these Venezuelans beg to differ.
We need help right now. You know, our people are there, starving, dying, just waiting for what? They can't waste any more time. We need help right away. Please help American people. We need you. We need you. We beg your help.
Over the weekend, a congressional delegation from the U.S. arrived at the border to see the situation, accompanied by the Colombian ambassador to the United States, Francisco Santos Calderon.
Even though the dictator is saying that this is a provocation, the only answer that we have for him is that this is an act of love. This is an act of Christianity. This is an act that shows the moral compass of those who cannot stand by seeing the suffering of millions and millions of Venezuelans that come across this bridge dying of hunger, dying because of lack of medicine.
Senator Marco Rubio from Florida was also in attendance.
What is happening here today, what is happening in Venezuela is a man-made crisis of epic proportions, not caused by a natural disaster, but by a man-made one. A criminal regime that is willing to starve and kill its own people before it gives up power.
But many of those attending Sunday worship services across this city are clinging to hope for change in Venezuela and praying for peace in the process. In Cúcuta, Colombia, I'm Chuck Holton for CBN News.
Definitely keep the people in Venezuela in your prayers. Well, make sure you go to cbnnews.com for all the headlines of the day and to check out top trending stories like, what about a rare letter from George Washington surfacing that praises God for the U.S. Constitution? Or the story of a Muslim congresswoman. Congresswoman's district reported to be the terrorist recruitment capital of the U.S. And this headline, I should never have thought God had forgotten me. How one church became an answer to prayer at this black university. You can find these stories, watch a video of our news reports and programs on demand, or tune into our CBN News channel. It's all at cbnnews.com. And this programming note, don't forget to check out our CBN News Daily Rundown podcast, which deals with a key story in the news every day. To see the Daily Rundown, go to cbnnews.com and click on the Show tab to find the Daily Rundown page where you can listen and subscribe. Coming up, the protests in Haiti have gotten so bad in recent days that scores of American missionaries have fled the country. We'll hear a first-hand account of the violence in that country when we come back.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Hundreds of protesters returned to the streets of the capital of Haiti Monday as the Caribbean's poorest nation endured another day of violence. 5 Americans were reportedly among a group of armed foreign nationals who were arrested. Protesters burned American flags and chanted, "Down with America, long live Putin." Deadly protests have engulfed the island nation since early February as residents grow increasingly angry about soaring inflation and government corruption. Haitians are also demanding the resignation of the president following charges of economic mismanagement. Scores of missionaries working in Haiti managed to flee this past weekend as violent riots gripped parts of the capital city, stranding them for days. The U.S. State Department is telling American citizens not to travel to Haiti. Gloria Rapaca with Love and Hope Ministries, along with her husband and daughters, were among the missionaries making the difficult decision to leave Haiti. Our Heather Sells spoke with her about what's happening there.
Gloria, this is also your homeland, and I know it's difficult to watch. Tell us about what you saw and why you left.
We've been in Haiti. We went back in August. And since we came back, there's been a little bit unrest. But for February 7th, which is the day of the dedication of the president, the people decided to have a protest. And so we were advised to stay home because the protest can be very violent. So we prepared. So on February 7th, there was a big protest. What we thought was going to be a day protest ended up going on more than 9 days. So from February 7th, we kept being home and home. The people came out in the street and just burning tires, blowed rocks. We couldn't go out. And they were destroying stores. The country was out of control.
It sounds horrible. Tell us about how you made the decision to actually leave Haiti.
The reason why we left, we came to a point where there were no fuel in the country. So we were getting 15 to 20-minute electricity per day. They lock us in, and then they gave us 2 hours, or there will be like 4 hours to go to the grocery store until noon. And once it's noon, they close the store. So we could not find water, electricity, and fuel, whether for your car or for your generator.
Gloria, what do you see as what is behind all this violence? Where is it coming from?
There are so many rumors, but we think the main thing is that they want the president out. The people are tired because of the inflation in the country. Things have gotten so expensive. So the people, the mass, being fueled by other politicians, that's what it said. They came out because they are tired, they are hungry, and the president said he's not leaving. He will complete his full term, which he has 3 more years. So the people they said they're not going to stop until the president leaves, and the president is not leaving. So today, they're still going on at it.
Gloria, how are you seeing the church doing in the midst of all this violence?
They were very intimidated at the beginning because the first weekend of the protest, the church, they told the people if they start churches, they were going to come and pull people out to go in the street. So most churches were closed. I believe the church is praying, but everybody is so confused now. But we are praying that they will rise up. They did call for a prayer at one point for all the churches, but people didn't go out because they were afraid to go out in the streets.
So a really challenging time when people don't even feel like they can leave their home. What are your plans at this point? Do you have any thoughts on when you and your family might return there?
We don't know yet because we're waiting for the situation to settle. And because once the country comes like that, foreigners are a target. And for missionaries, we are a target. It was advised for most of us to leave. Most missionaries with their children, who have children, leave.
Wow. Tell us, what are your thoughts on how we can pray for Haiti and the people at this time?
My first prayer request, as you asked the question before, that the church will rise in Haiti and cry out to the Lord. Because the people are so afraid, they need a place, a shelter. And the church has to be that shelter. At the same time, the Christians are so, when you're hungry, you're tired, you don't have electricity, sometimes it's hard to focus on the spiritual as you focus on your physical needs. So we need to pray for God to provide for them in the midst of it all, and then to strengthen them from the inside so they can rise up and fight for their country spiritually.
That's really beautiful. Well, thank you for your ministry there. Thank you for your time now, Gloria Rapaka.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Another country to pray for. Well, still ahead, diabetes has exploded in America, but one university doctor is assisting patients by helping them lose weight and get off their medication.
CBN presents The I Wills of God, your path to overcoming fear and anxiety.
We're going to talk about some of the incredible promises God has made to His children.
In Pat Robertson's newest teaching, you'll discover the I Wills of God. I will rescue him, protect him, answer him, be with him in trouble, deliver him, honor him, satisfy him with long life, show him my salvation, and see amazing stories of God's promises in action.
What I felt was loved and treasured.
God spared my life twice in 3 days.
The good Lord had given me a second chance.
Break free from stress and despair.
The Lord doesn't want you to live in fear, but to know the rewards given to those who love God.
Call 1-800-700-7000 or visit CBN.com. The I Wills of God, your path to overcoming fear and anxiety.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
When I came to Regent University, it's like the world opened up. I felt like I needed to advance my career and go back to school. Regent was a perfect fit for me. The Regent professors are world-class. You are equipped. The focus of the faculty is on each individual student, whether it's online or in person. You become a part of Regent's family. You carry with you not just the content and the knowledge, but the confidence to understand that we can be significant in the world.
Regent University. Follow your path.
Welcome back. The number of diabetes cases has skyrocketed, and now it's 10 times what it was just 50 years ago. Lori Johnson traveled to Duke University, where a diabetes doctor is helping patients lose weight and ditch their meds.
Like millions of Americans, Janet Huffstetler felt diabetes ruining her life. Then she changed her diet.
I will tell you, I have never felt so good. I think having my body free of sugar and carbs and processed chemicals has made such a difference.
It's a far cry from the fear she felt 8 years ago when doctors first diagnosed her with diabetes. She saw what it did to her uncle.
He ended up on full dialysis and blind, and he also had coronary bypass surgery, and they had started talking about amputation, but he died.
Diabetes is when there's too much sugar in the blood. The standard treatment is largely medication. Janet's first doctor put her on medication that led to weight gain and depression.
And this kind of made me sluggish, it made me dizzy, it made me lethargic.
Daily life became a series of finger sticks, constantly monitoring her blood sugar levels. Believing there had to be a better way, she changed doctors.
I came home and Googled, and Dr. Westman's name kept coming up, and I was fortunate enough to get in to see him.
That appointment sent her to the nationally recognized Duke Lifestyle Medicine Clinic and Dr. Eric Westman, who helped reverse Janet's diabetes through his diet-only approach.
Diabetes and obesity is complicated. There are lots of factors that are involved, but most experts agree that it's the foods and the beverages that people eat that are the major cause for diabetes and obesity in the U.S. And so that should be the major focus of treatment.
Instead of treating the sugar in his patient's blood with medicine, Westman simply eliminates their sugar intake.
The program is tremendously successful if you do it.
Susan Hollowell did it and went from spending $400 a month on diabetes drugs down to zero.
I was insulin dependent, 5 injections a day. The third day of my diet, my blood sugar dropped to 150, and I asked Dr. Westman, what should I do about my insulin? I didn't want to go over. And he said, get off of it.
That was 3 months ago. Now she's 20 pounds lighter with greater energy than before. Dr. Westman admits it's not easy for some people to give up sugar.
There's a feed forward, a drive that comes from eating sugar, that eating sugar makes you want to eat more sugar.
So his patients use artificial sweeteners to manage their withdrawal symptoms.
After a while, you don't crave those things anymore. You don't want it.
In addition to sugar, Dr. Westman's diabetes diet also limits starches like bread, pasta, and rice because they also raise your blood sugar. Surprisingly, the diet allows patients to eat fats, the unsaturated kind like olive oil and avocados, and saturated fat like coconut oil and butter. Although this diet may sound revolutionary, it's actually a throwback. This is an old medical textbook from the year 1900, before insulin was discovered, advising physicians to put their diabetic patients on a low-carbohydrate, high-fat diet. Dr. Westman tells his patients not to worry about eating saturated fat because the latest science reveals it does not cause heart disease.
So now we're in a phase of education, trying to get the word out on how the cholesterol in the blood and the heart arteries and all that do not get adversely affected by a high-fat diet.
So to avoid diabetes or reverse it, put the brakes on sugar and starch. It's not always easy, but well worth the effort. Lori Johnson, CBN News.
And you can see this story and reports on other important developments in health, like how coconut oil can fight Alzheimer's and a unique way to deal with cancer tonight on Healthy Living with Lori Johnson, only on the CBN News Channel at 9:30 Eastern. Coming up, how going to church regularly can improve the quality of your life and even help you live longer.
When you give, smiles grow bigger. When you care, homes are happier. When you comfort, the hurt goes away. When we all come together to love, miracles happen.
Hello, I'm Terry Newsom. Did you know there are more than 148 million orphans in the world today? 148 million. But it was 3 little girls that taught me about the plight of orphans. My husband and I spent nearly a month immersed in the daily activities of a Ukrainian orphanage as we waited to adopt 3 sisters. I saw firsthand the utter loneliness, the pain of rejection, and the overwhelming desire to be loved. That experience changed me forever. And out of it grew a ministry from my heart called Orphans Promise. Today, we're helping orphans and vulnerable children in more than 50 countries worldwide. Thousands of children are now in safe homes. They're being educated, and they're learning life skills. I'm asking you to join with me and become family to these children. Will you call the number on your screen right now? Because every child deserves a chance to be happy.
Hello? Is this thing on? Hey, kids, do you love games? And do you love discovering things? Well, do ya?
Then you're gonna love this. It's the new free Superbook Kids Bible app. You can play games, watch videos, find answers to your questions, and a whole lot more. The new Superbook Kids Bible app. Free downloads available on iTunes and Google Play now.
Come home to the Southern Gospel Station from CBN Radio. You'll enjoy a rich Southern blend of bluegrass, classic gospel, and Southern gospel favorites. CBN Southern Gospel. Available now at cbnradio.com.
Thanks for staying with us. New Bible translation technology is helping to spread the gospel faster than ever. For more than 70 years, Wycliffe Bible Translators has worked to give people the Word of God in their own language. It took 67 years to complete the first 500 Bibles. The second 500 took only 17 years. Now, updated software for smartphones called Paratext Lite will speed the process even more. The software can run on a digital tablet or phone, enabling translators to upload and update their work more quickly. Going to church can lead to a longer, healthier life. Timothy Carney, author of a new book called Alienated in America, says he found that people who practice their faith report better lives. For instance, people attending church more than once a week consider themselves very happy. Families that worship together are more likely to eat dinner together as well as do things as a family. And people who worship at least weekly live longer. However, church attendance is declining. Pew reports only 36% of Americans attended weekly services in 2014, and that's compared to a 1950s Gallup report of 49%. Well, that's going to do it for this first edition of CBN News Watch. You can find more on the issues you care about most at cbnnews.com and watch CBN News programs anytime on our CBN News channel. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.